All right, I think that's good enough. I think. For those of you that don't know me, and I'm not certain how many that is, my name is Skip Altate. Believe it or not, I'm starting my 13th year of being retired. That's probably the fastest 13 years of my life, and I will agree to that. Prior to that, for 36 years, I was at North Platte High School, where I did all the plays, I did the speech, and I also did the debate. So I did all, yes, I did all of them. But what I do now is what I truly, truly love, and that is judging. For two reasons. Number one, it keeps me in contact with kids other than my grandkids. And number two, as long as people feel I do a decent job, it gives me a real fulfillment of that I'm worth something. And I hear a lot of retired people talk about they don't feel like they're worth anything anymore. Not people in our profession mostly, but others. And I think judging really, really does that for me. And I know someday when I have to give it up that I will truly miss it. By the way, I wore my little judging pin today on purpose. I don't know if you can see it because it blends into the darkness of my shirt. But I thought since I was talking about judging, I should be wearing the pin. And then the newer pins we got are so much bigger. You know, the little tiny round ones, you could hardly read what they were. But I was asked to do about total effectiveness. All right. By the way, for those of you that do know me really well, I'm not the most technical guy in the world. My 14-year-old granddaughter, McKenna, put these together for me last week for my handwritten notes. By the way, she'll be a freshman this year at North Platte High, but she is scared to death of theater. Oh, one other thing I want to mention. Both Lori Long and Brittany McDaniel, who both started this morning, student taught for me. This is what I truly look at when I am done with a play. I look at this. This is the last one on the ballot. When it's finished, after all the timing, all those other things that people look at, I sit back and I think about the play. And I said, first of all, I said, did I like it? And I don't care whether it was a comedy, a tragedy, something in between, a farce. Did I like it? And the main reason is, did the kids do their jobs to make me like it? And I'm going to say most of the time, yes. You know, especially as we get close to conference districts and state time, especially if you've seen plays several times, which happens to some of us, and you see the improvement that they've had. They went from not having a lot of effectiveness to all of a sudden, yeah, you really did a nice job. Here's the second one here is something that, and Carol talked about this earlier this morning. You've got to know what you have for, and this is directors, you got to know what kids you have and what they can do before you pick a show, and I always did that. I had a pretty good idea of who I had and what I had, and then there was always that surprise kid that moved in over the summer, and all my I changed, not necessarily the play, but I changed who was going to be what part of the cast. But does it fit? I think sometimes, us as judges, we should remove ourselves from saying, well, I wouldn't have done that play. Well, you're not the director. you are judging it for what they are doing correctly. Don't decide that you don't like the play because it's nothing that you didn't want to do. There are plays I have given first to all the time that I wouldn't have done it, but boy, they did a great job with it. So as a judge, you've got to remove yourself from that part, and that fits into this effectiveness. Don't put yourself in the put yourself in the shoes of the director. It goes back to what I heard earlier about, you have to remove yourselves from what you think you would do versus others. Like when judges say, well, when I did this show 15 years ago, I hated hearing that, and I stay away from it. I really do. Because those were different times, different kids, all those things. Completeness. What I do with that, I sit and think, whoa, it's over. I always say, if you do a comedy well, at the end, everybody knows it's over. Everybody got. Now, when you do drama, tragedies, if there's that pause at the end where you have to think just for those few seconds, oh, it's over. Oh, yeah, that was really good. And you mull that all over in your head. That's a completeness. Now, if they're doing a tragedy and everybody realizes it's over, it probably wasn't as effective as it probably could have been. Was there emotionally invested response? I'm not talking about the audience. This is the other actors. Are the characters in the play emotionally involved as the character? And I say this all the time, and I'm probably going to say it 5 times through this little presentation. I do this in my oral critiques all the time. I say, I'm a real easy guy to convince. I know some of you may not believe that, but it is true. I can believe that a 15-year-old kid is playing an 80-year-old guy if he or she does it correctly. You can convince me of that. But if all of a sudden the 80-year-old runs across the stage that he or she couldn't have done at 80, I'm not telling you how old I am, but I can't run very well anymore. So that's what I mean. Emotionally involved. Are the characters emotionally involved as the characters in what is occurring in the play? Then you got me. If used, did the chorus add to the effectiveness of the production? I always like that, if used, because not everybody uses choruses. However, I'm getting to see, specifically at state, a lot more on big ensembles and choruses than there used to be, which there's no problem either way, but they have to be involved. Last thing in the world, and she went through that very well about this kid is not involved and it stands out. If they're all involved, you look at it and you say, oh wow, that was really, really good. I mean, I can't tell which one wasn't involved, and sometimes they become one. And that's exactly what you want. Here's the other thing that I studied. And that's the rubrics, which came out several years ago. And I just decided to put the superior on because that's what we're looking for as judges. We are looking for the superior. Choice of script provides the actors opportunities to display the talent. Again, now that is a director's thing. But if the director does it correctly, this comes right through. The fact that, I believe those kids were who they were. I believe they're doing what they're supposed to do. Actors actors convey the mood. They keep the mood, whether it's a comedy, a tragedy, whatever it is, they keep it going throughout the presentation. A sense of dramatic unity is established in scripturals, acting, and staging. Again, go back to the above parts of the ballad. Those are all broken down. You know, there's timing, blocking, staging, voice, all of those things. This, again, is an accumulation of all of the others. That's why I said at the beginning, this is when I'm done watching a play, this is exactly what pops into my head, is the overall effect. An empathetic response and sense of completeness is created by the effective theatrical performance. Again, I do have a heart. I feel stuff in here, I really do. I don't necessarily show it here, but I feel it here. And do you get that and cause that to happen to you? Comedy, tragedy, doesn't matter. Do I feel sympathy for this character? Does the guy who's playing an idiot come across as an idiot the way it's supposed to be in a comedy? Yeah, I feel that here. I really do. And the playwright's purpose is accomplished. I've always wondered about that one because sometimes you can't get him or her, especially if the person is deceased, to ask them why he or she wrote that. But having read enough scripts over my life, I've decided not near as many as Carol. I spent all summer reading. I would read one acts 3 or 4 a day. The bigger plays 3 acts, maybe 1.5. But I spent every day, I did so many in the summer because I was too busy the rest of the year. And you get the purpose out of that. And you can understand how that worked. This is also one that I really go back to. When the judge's test comes out, and these ladies know right here, I go through and I answer every question out of my head. Then I go back and I look up every single question where the answer is. I run off the manual now, and I highlight it, and then I write down the answer and what page it is, what section it is. That's why it says, page 17, number 3, judging standards, letter F. The total effect shall be judged in terms of dramatic unity resulting from the combination of the acting, the script, and the staging as an integrated performance. Did the whole thing come together? Again, I do that at the end because I watch the show, I critique the show as it goes, and those of you who've seen my ballots, thank you, Carol, for showing me this. And yeah, there's more on the back, a lot more. The magic on the back. Inboxes, yes. Anyway, I write all those, and then this is going to be my reason for decision, right here. I'm going to say all those things, but I don't have enough room, but I make that choice. But I get back right to what I talked about earlier. Make me believe. If you're judging, did they make you believe? It's not a 14-year-old high school kid. It's not an 18-year-old high school kid. Whatever he or she was playing, did you believe that person was that character throughout that entire play? If the answer is yes, great. If it's not, what were the reasons you didn't believe? And that's what you talk about in your oral critiques, you write on the ballot, and so forth. Total effectiveness. It is the ending product of the presentation. Do you have any questions? All right, Carol.
Sorry to interrupt this moment. No, we are going to be done as soon as Carol's done, so that we can collectively, well, not, hopefully not together, but collectively go to our hotel rooms or our houses and take showers. Carol, take it away.
Okay. First of all, some of you want to leave right now, and go ahead and leave, literally. This is really for directors who want to stay, okay? So, Brad Hazy, go ahead and leave. But if you don't want to stay, you don't have to. I'm not going to look at who's leaving and who's staying and going, really? Okay, so go ahead and leave if you want. And I'm also going to tell you that right off the bat, it's not, you might be sorely disappointed, okay? I'm going to show you a process of what I do to rehearse in the dark, minus the play, which is going to be a bummer, but we don't have a play. But I'd like to show you and walk you through it if you want to see it, because for my kids, for me as a director, it changed our worlds a lot of time, and I mean it. We won a lot of tournaments, but we really won those tournaments in the dark the night before competition. We do it twice a year. We do it once over Thanksgiving break, right before districts, and then literally we do it in a very crowded hotel room the night before the state tournament. And it's a wonderful, it can be, it has been for us, a wonderful experience. So stay if you want, leave if you want. What a lovely day it was. But if you're staying, come get on this stage and lie on your backs. And boyfriends and girlfriends don't get to lie beside each other, Sheila and Brad and Jenna and Jared. But go sit, go lay down on your backs. Lead characters are in the middle of the circle. If you have lead roles, you're in the middle of the circle. I'm sure that's you, Jeffrey Warner. But anyway, and you can't be touching anyone. Taryn, where are you? Okay, because here's... If you just want to watch, come down front, because I'm not going to use the microphone.
Okay. Okay. But Katie says, let me have that. When we get done, turn them on. So yeah. I'll just let them room. I like it. Yeah,
to go up there. The problem is, if in the audience, you either need to make your way out or sit, because I'm going to turn the lights off now. I have it. Okay.
glad it's on up there. But we're gonna do this anyway. Normally what we do, I'm gonna stand for a minute. Normally what we do is we literally, everything. See that light? That would be killed. The exit lights aren't, well, they probably are in the back of our stage, but here's what we have. We've got a curtain in the back, right? The backstage traveler. We close it, we close this front one. So it is pitch black. I don't think we're gonna get that done here, but it is pitch black, okay? And here's what I do. I literally run them through a relaxation, visualization thing that I don't even know where I learned, but I think it was at Kearney State College before 1982. I didn't use it for a lot of years. And then once I did, I've never stopped, okay? What I feel like I should do is we run through this visualization. I also have the sound up here. If we have any sound effects, I have it, but if it's a synthesizer with a light, we cover it with black. Pitch dark, pitch dark. What I think I should do today is walk you through it, but then also walk you through what I am used to seeing from kids during the process. Does that make sense? Like literally, first and foremost, is if there are new kids, it doesn't happen so much now because it is totally a tradition for us, but new kids always laugh. Young kids start giggling. But oh, it's so interesting to see what happens as you go on, because by the end of it, they are not giggling unless you're doing a comedy. And it's so fun to do this with a comedy because they know to stay in character, but somewhere along the lines, they can't. And they don't. And they just laugh and laugh and laugh at the play. Okay? You might ditch this, and you ditch it if you want, but for me and my kids, it is sacred inside of me. Okay? They still talk about it. I have 50-year-olds come back and say, God, I love doing it in the dark. I had a kid who was a Navy SEAL now, and I saw him 3 years ago at a wedding, and he said, Miss Karen, when we were doing Navy SEAL, they did it in the dark just like you did. I'm like, woohoo! Right? But, okay, so should we try it? The problem is that when I get you to that point, and then I say our traditions, like, we're in that hallway at Norfolk. Our set is there, we're going to go in through the scene shop, set up that, when I do all of that, and then we start the show, we have no show to give today, right? So you're just going to have to take it home and do it with your show. Okay.